Hello and welcome back to my channel, and thanks for rejoining me with my Appendix A Adventures episode 3. We join the characters. They have just made a bit of a discovery. They got at the end of last session, having not discovered any creatures to confront, but a trap, a staircase up and out. And I was minded by one of the commentators who said, you discovered clear air, fresh air. Isn't that maybe a bit suspicious? And that was here. And maybe, putting two and two together, that's probably something to do with the upstairs, maybe fresh air coming down from the surface and coming in. So, everything connects. And you should always be suspicious of anything in and not take anything for granted in AD&D. So I will try to spin everything that comes up on these die rolls in the future and not just write it off and be so flippant about it. We do have the situation here where I was supposed to put in. This goes up to this stage, and then we go down. And the beauty of this die roll meant that we actually descended down 2 levels. And the net effect is that we go down to level 2. So this is effectively level 2 of the dungeon. So, yes, that is quite a discovery. It means that whenever we face opposition, they're going to be a bit more beefed up. Fingal and Greenface, they are bracing themselves. They did come into this room here, this chamber. There is a corridor on, this would be their right at the end, leading out. They found that the room was empty. But we can still do a bit of our dressing check. And the room is, what was that, 2 by 3, that's 600 square feet. So it's not beyond 600 square feet. So I will roll a d10, and on a 1 to 2, we get some dressing in the room. So there's no dressing in the room. And it is a new room that we've gone into. I would say there's a base for atmosphere. A 1 to 3, we have a bit of atmosphere going into this room. And we do have some atmosphere, and we will roll on our atmosphere table. I will just bring this up. So this might be interesting. I always like the atmosphere stuff. 2, odors. So we're really into odors. We've had air, we've had odors, we had that stale smell, rather rancid smell. Your finger was probably saying, Greenface, are you sure you had a bath before we set off? And he says, well, we could have been magically transported here, Fingal. So don't, when was the last time you had a bath? So we are going to check on odors and see what is the distinctive smell of this place. So we get our percentage dice for this. Let's see if we get anything pleasant. We get a straight 80, and an 80 is, all right, okay, a smoky smell. So there's nothing going on in the air, but the actual location itself, there is a smoky smell. And that could be something that's been burnt. And I'll just make a little note on my map. We'll get a little time thing again. And we are in, I would classify this as room 2, which is 30 by 20, and we have a smoky smell. No dressing. We're also got to, I'll just do a quick check of the time it's taken. So to map this, that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's going to be another, we'd already done 3, so that is going to take us up to a turn to get into this chamber. We go in, we do a bit of mapping. That's going to take a turn and a half to map that. And let's do 5. So that's a turn and a half to map that room. And there's nothing in it, so we don't need to search it any further. But there is a corridor leading out. So smoky smell. Is there anything else we want to do in that room? I don't think so. I think what we're going to do is we're going to bash on, and we could probably have the space. It's not a door, so what we're going to do is we're going to do a periodic check for that exit. Yes, I think that's what we'll do. We'll get our D20 out and we'll do a periodic check. 19. And a 19. Oh no, it's not one of these. It is the trick trap. Table 7. Passage continues. Check again in 30 feet. So what we're going to do is we are going to, what we'll do a 30-foot passage, and then we'll say what's happened is we've gone down this passage and then we've activated a trap here, and then this continues for another 30 feet ahead. I think that's the best way of representing that. Okay, so we are braced for a trap. What is it going to be? I will get my table ready and we'll put it onto the necessary section. Already we've had two times we've had to roll on this. What will it be? 16. Spear trap. 1 to 3 spears. 1 in 20. They are poisoned. Oh dear. Right. Okay. Let us just move the Dungeon Master's Guide out to the side. So I will say that this spear trap is going to be, it could really be anywhere along here. So because we've got 60 feet of corridor to play with, I'm going to say that, did it say? Yeah, 1 to 3 spears are going to come out, and they're going to jag out like that. Ooh, a bit nasty. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's roll a d6 and find out where the spear trap is activated. So it is going to be here. So we're going to have the spear trap here, little spears from the side, and I presume they come out of the side, or maybe they come down. Maybe they are spears that shoot down on top of us, or even potentially, I think it's more unlikely to come up out of the ground, but either down or from the sides. Maybe we have a spear from the side, we have a spear from, there are 1 to 3 spears. So let's determine how many spears are going to be activated if we set this trap off. So there are going to be 3 spears. So let's say there's one from either side, and there's one that comes down and spikes us in the head. Not a good thing. So what can we do as a preventative measure? We do know that what we are doing is we are cautiously moving up these passages and checking, mapping, and that also includes checking for traps. So we can rely on good old Greenface ability, and I think from memory he was on a base of, because he has this, it is a very useful skill. Once thieves get up to quite a high level, they become really very useful. When they're at first level and whatever, we're not really talking very high chances, but certainly when you get up to levels that are more appreciative, they start to become far more credible personnel down the dungeon. So find and remove traps is a 35% chance, and we realize that gnomes have a +10. So we are going to be relying on Greenface to be able to detect this spear trap. he has a 35% chance of detecting. So, no, sorry, 45% chance. Yeah, because he gets a +10 for being a gnome. So, here's the other thing, that maybe the spear would go over his head. It would just go into things aside, probably, but maybe go over. So, are we going to do it? 86. We do not detect the trap. All right. So, I would say that it is almost, and the 1 in 20, they are going to be poisoned. Oh dear. So, 1 in 20 poisoned. No, at least they're not poisoned. So they are 3 spear traps. They are going to be triggered by our characters as we carefully move along. However, Greenface did not manage to detect them. He did not have the necessary skills, potentially, or maybe he was clouded his vision. He didn't, and they have been quite expertly hidden down this corridor. But either way, we are going to be in a bit of a bother. So the way I'm going to allocate it, and if we just visualize our 2 characters, and they are coming side by side. So say Greenface is on the right and Thingles is on the left. We're going to have probably 1 spear going into Thingle, and 1 spear going towards Greenface. Now there is the potential that they are slightly staggered, so that might actually not work, and against it might actually all go into 1 character. That is the point. I suppose what I need to do is actually see whether the spears hit the characters. I think that would be the fairest way to do that. So let us just have a look at their character sheets. We'll do that first. And their armor class. So Greenface has got an armor class of 5. And Thingle has got an armor class of 1. Okay, and we've got 3 spear traps. So let us say that at least 1 goes to each of our characters. So we're going to have 1 against Thingle, and 1 against Greenface, and the other one is going to be a choice between the 2. So 1 to 3 is going to be Thingle. So I know it's going to go for Greenface, so he's going to get 2. And I think the way I'll do it almost as if it's a monster attack. I think that would be the fairest way to do it, and not an automatic hit. And there's always the chance that their armor, or maybe they even potentially even dodge, because their reflexes are high. They are trained professional adventurers. So let us just have a look at, or maybe I could even do a saving throw. No, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the advantage of their armor, which also includes their ability to dodge. And I will treat this as if it is a monster of, say, we'll do the level of the dungeon. So it's level 2. So level 2 against, for Thingle, it needs a 15 or more to strike Thingle. So this is the spear trap against Thingle. It classifies as a level 2 monster, so it misses Thingle. Good, so that's 1. And we said that Greenface's armor is 5. So a level 2 monster against armor class 5 is an 11. So he's going to get 2 attacks at 11. So the first one, it hits him. Right. So he takes 1 hit from a spear, but at least it's not poisoned. And another hit from a spear. So I think because it was 11, wasn't it? I'm not just, yes. Unfortunately, he takes 2 spear hits. Oh dear. So it's not, maybe that's not so good. I will get my player's handbook out, and I will see what the spear does damage-wise. Now, even big, strong characters like this, or maybe not big in Greenface's case, this is still a prospect. and the damage versus opponent. Now he classifies as, I suppose he classifies, does he classify us as a small, he's small or medium? Yeah, there's no difference. A spear does 1 to 6 points of damage. So spear 1 goes into him. He goes, oh, I've set off a trap. Oh, and Thingle says, well, I managed to dodge it. Greenface, watch out, there's one coming down on your head. Bang. So it does 6 points of damage. So the one into his side does 6. Oh, a nasty jab. that hurts. It's really sharp. And the one, oh dear me, 12 points of damage. So they've done maximum damage, 12 points. Oh dear. So I have to get. So Greenface staggers forward. He manages to extricate himself from the spears. Thingle manages to give him a little hand. So he takes 12 points of damage, which actually halves his hit points. So he's gone down to 12. Okay, so that wasn't too good. Spear trap there, taken damage, 12 points of damage. That was not very nice. Okay, so, but we do have the cavalry. We do have Thingle's spells. I've got them noted down here, and luckily he has memorized 2 cure light wound spells, so he's got a bit of capacity here. And he says, right, I think I'm gonna have to be deployed. You've obviously taken a bit of a hit here. Let's just, first of all, we'll do a quick tally of how many rounds we've taken coming up here. So if we carefully map up to here, that's 3. So that is, we've already done 5, so that's another 3. And to do up there will be another 3. But let's say what we do is we take a bit of time out and we wait here. I think because we've been in this corridor for a while, what I'm going to do is I'm going to check for some dressing. So if I do a 1 to 2, and do I add 1 on the dressing if the corridor is a bit longer? Yeah, +1 if it's longer than 30 feet. Okay, let's do that. So let's do a bit of dressing in the corridor. So we'll, on a 1 to 3, we'll have a bit of dressing, as if a spear trap isn't enough. So we do have some dressing. And we're going to roll 1d3 times for dressing. So there's going to be 2 bits of dressing. And are we going to get any atmosphere? We do get no atmosphere. So just on the dressing thing, and just before Thingle does his curative powers on Greenface, let us just find out what type of dressing we're going to get. I'll just get to the relevant tables. I'm going to have to put a little post-it note in so that I get to them quite easily. And also I need to get my table and room corridor dressing. We do the D6, so we're going to have the first one is going to be, I just came off camera, that's a 4, so that's miscellaneous utensils and personal items, and a 5, which is again miscellaneous items and personal utensils and personal items. Okay, so we're going to roll on this table twice. And I'll have to place these, and we could already have gone past them. But let's just say that there are actually further ahead down this corridor. So if I just take my D6 out of that, we're going to have a 59 and a 1. So 59 is platter, right? You know, Greenface has been served up on a platter. Is the spear trap? So there's a platter there, and a 1 is an awl. So what is an awl? An awl. I don't actually. I do not actually know. I'm trying to think what an all would be. Yeah. Okay, maybe it's so. This is where I maybe show my ignorance a wee bit. I don't actually know what an awl is. It is a utensil? Is it some sort of... All right, okay. Let us put, we've found an awl and a plateau. So just as we move past this spear trap, Thingol says, oh, I've just stood on this. Oh, it looks like a plateau. You know, what's that doing down here? You know, maybe there are some kitchens around here, or maybe serving quarters. You know, who knows? You know, and there's and Greenface goes, well, what's that thing? And Thingol says, well, it's an awl, of course. Do you not know what an awl is? And Greenface says, no, I don't know. So Thingol is trying to pretend that he knows what an awl is. I will find out for the next episode what an awl is. I should really have one of these pocket dictionaries next to here. You know, this is what Gary Gygax likes to do. He just throws in all the, you know, he usually does it with all these weapons. But yes, I should know what an awl is, but I don't. Okay, what else are we going to? We don't have to do any atmosphere. We have done the dressing. We were in mid-heal. So, and we do know that Thingol has got 2 healing spells. And we've got 12 points that we have to gain. However, I have to check, because I'm so used to dealing with level 1 characters. There might actually be, there might be an upgrade for, upon laying his or her hand upon a creature, the cleric causes from 1 to 8 hit points of wound or other injury damage to the creature's body to be healed. Okay, he does not get any additional advantage. No. Yeah, you can reverse this. You can actually cause 1 to 8 if he touches. Right, so he's going to do his curative powers. And I think what he's going to do, he says, right, Greenface, depending how successful I am with this healing spell, I will gauge whether I need to do another one. But you can maybe just have a couple of scratches and carry them. Hopefully I will get a nice high number, and I'll do some very superior level healing. Let us see how I get on. So a 4, yeah, that's so I would say that goes back up to 16. And Greenface says, look, you know, what we can do is maybe you can have a rest later on and regain some of these spells. But in the meantime, I think I really need to be at full fighting effectiveness. You know, please, can you heal me another one? So yes, we will score a Cure Light Wounds out, and we will do another one. And he says, right, this is me, use up all my charges. I'm going to have a bit of a nap to get this one. Yes, that's much better, 6. So we'll go back up to 22. So I'll just get my rubber out. Right, so I think that's a bit more of a decent amount to have, particularly now that we're on level 2. And when it comes to actually resting, what we could do is potentially move back to what we consider to be a safe room, and even potentially even go up here and find what the outside is, or go back out the front and maybe camp out in the Black Forest. That could be, or the Black Wood. We don't have to maybe go all the way back to town, but let us see how we get on, because time-wise, we have spent only about an hour and a half down this dungeon so far. So having done the healing, that takes no real time at all. We can map the rest of this corridor. That will take another 3, and that will get us, say, up to another. So we've got one more turn that we can do things before we have to rest, and then we have a wandering monster check. Yes, that is quite a sobering thought. So we continue to map up to this area here, and what we will do is we will roll a periodic check. And now I've got loads and loads of cluster all over the place. Let's find out what we get. 13. So what does the 13 mean? Where is my Dungeon Master's Guide? Let us get a look. So a 13 on the periodic check. So we've had a bit more excitement than we had maybe last time. Unfortunately, poor old Greenface. he was this is what happens when you don't detect traps. And a 13 is passage turns. Check, see table 4, check width on table 3. Okay, so we're currently going down 10-foot wide passages. So table 4 is a turn. Result. So we have to do a d20 for that. So it turns right 45 degrees behind. All right. Okay. And also we have to check that the passage turns. Check again in 30 feet this table. Yeah. So we're going to have to check the width of the passage. So it stays at 10 feet. Okay. But what happens is that when we get to the end of this, this actually goes backwards this way. And it's right. So it's going to be one of these awful angular things. They seem to be into angles here. So let's just do 30 down here and 30 here. So it's almost like it comes to a bit of a dead end, and then suddenly it just darts backwards to the right at 45 degrees. And Thingle says, oh, it's taken a bit of a turn here, Greenface. You all ready with your map? Let us proceed down this corridor here. We have only got a bit of time left before we need, we're probably feeling a bit tired now, before we have a little rest. So let's do another 3 to map down to here. And because we've got into a new thing, I think what we'll do is we'll do a wee bit of atmosphere. 1 to 3. So we get some atmosphere. So what does the table say for atmosphere? 4. And I think on my little table, 4 is unexplained sound and noises. Yes, my favorite. It is the unexplained sound and noises. So let's see whether there's any howling or moaning or whatever going on. 51. Oh, I think I've done my D8. Let's just do the D10. 56. And the unexplained sound is, it's there's moaning going on. And we can do an intensity score of 1 to 10. So how powerful is this moaning? And Greenface going, do you hear that, Thingle? I think I can hear some moaning. And but it's very, very faint. And it does seem to be just echoing down this corridor as we came into it. And Thingle says, well, with my sharp elf ears, or half elf ears, I could discern maybe some very, very basic language in that. So maybe we could put it to an oracle and say, does Thingle manage to discern any significance? And on a 5 or a 6, there is significance. No, he is not able to understand any of the moaning. It's just non-vocal moaning. It has no words. It is almost like a kind of that type of thing. Right, so we are down to this bit of the passage. We are going to have to check for a periodic check. We are really cashing in on the periodic checks so far on this adventure, but we are not really coming across anything of significance yet. We're doing a kind of zigzag weave 7. And 7 is 7 is a side passage. Check again in 30 feet this table. All right, so this is going down here and there's going to be a side passage. So this carries on straight. So let's find out where the side passage goes. 15. And the side passage is 15 is, oh, the passage Y's. Oh dear. So, right. Yeah, I suppose I could do a Y down here. Yeah, this would work. So a Y down here, 30 feet. Let's do that down there, 30 feet. And a Y just carries on straight, say. Or should it go like this? Yes, I think that's probably what a Y means here in this context. So we'll have a Y this way and a Y. That's almost like writing itself. And what I've realized is I am down on level 2 here. So what I should do is actually transfer this map when I get to this point here onto a different hex grid. So that's what I'm going to do for the next adventure, is actually move it onto a different piece of graph paper, so we don't get all our levels mixed up. So this stays at level 1 and this will be level 2. You know, potentially we could almost double back in here, and then it gets all confusing if we're all on this, basically on the same page. So, you know, this is Dungeon Adventuring 101, and I am failing the test. So, you know, Thingle and Greenface would be wagging you know, basically we need another piece of parchment. That's what Greenface would be saying. So the passage Y's, okay. We are faced with a choice. Are we going to go down this way? And let's just see what we're doing time-wise. We've done, we've done 3 up to, so these ones are all scored out. We've done 3 up to there. We've got another 3 if we go down to one of this one or one of these. So I'm just going to say it's going to be a straight choice between the left or the right. So it is going to be the right, so we're going to go this way, and that will take another 3 to get up to there. So we're up to 6 rounds. We're just short of our rest period, where we have to rest and also have a wandering monster check. So we get up to the end of this one here. I suppose there is maybe just a small chance that there is something beyond the moaning. Yes, there is. Yeah. What are we going to have atmosphere wise? Yeah, there's a lot of atmosphere and dressing down this dungeon, but not much else. So a 6 on my table means a combination of 3. Wow. So we have to roll, we have to get an air current, 2 air currents. Let's do a different one. An odor. And it's either going to be 3 or 4. So, yes. So we've got a combination of air current, odor, and air as we approach this point here, because we've decided to go down this corridor. So let's just do this and just bombard the characters' sensory abilities, see whether they can work out. So the air current is oh, that's the wrong one. Air current is 7. An air current of 7 is a slight damp breeze. Okay, so I'll just make a little note of that. We have a slight damp breeze. We also have, what do we have? We have air and odor. So we'll do our odor first. So a slight damp breeze. We have a 41 for odor, which is an earthy smell. Okay, earthy smell. So we've had a smoky smell. We've got now got an earthy smell. And I've still not really got any kind of connections to try and almost like spin up some you know, we can maybe do an intensity roll again. And 42 on the air. The air is clear. So, right. So no real problems with the air. So it's not like it's foggy or misty, but there is a slight damp breeze and earthy smell. So maybe beyond this, there is something that is lurking, that, you know, maybe there is a hole or something, or a chasm, or something that's emanating where the breeze is coming from. And the earthy smell, maybe there's some more vegetation or whatever, you know, which would seem rather strange, you know, level 2 of the dungeon. Okay, I think what we're going to do is we're just going to get to the point where we will find out what is beyond this, and we'll be able to trigger our rest period and do the resting and see whether we have a wandering monster. So I think that's quite important. So let us do the periodic check when we get to the end of this. And this will be 3 to get to the end of that. That will be almost up to the rest period. And I'll say we will just have a rest when we get to this point. So that is a 15. And on the periodic check, 15 means chamber. Yes, at last we get a chamber. So table 5, and we're going into a chamber because we're not going through a door. It doesn't say a door with a room, so it's a chamber. Table 5. So we will do a D. So a chamber with a 4 is square 20 by 20. So let us just use a bit of initiative and say it's 20 by 20. And it is a chamber, so there's no door going into it. This is the passage going along into this chamber. And have we got any number of exits? We've got a 5. And on a 5, it's up to 600. We have 2 exits. Right, okay. So we have an exit 10 on the left wall. So we've got an exit in this square or this square. So here we have an exit here. And where else do we have? On 12, that is on the left wall again. So we can only have it here. So maybe there are two exits side by side. So it's almost like the passage split off. There's probably going to be a bit of a balustrade right in the middle here, just to stop it joining into 2, merging into 1. You know, that's quite an interesting setup. And the all-important, is there going to be something in it? We are going to roll for chamber or room contents. 19 on trick or trap. Dear. I don't believe it. Okay. Also, let's say that this is room 3. Room 3. Yeah, room 3. We have a trick or trap. And I am just going to leave us on tenterhooks, and I'm going to do the trick or trap right at the start of the next one. I am not going to get sucked into doing all that kind of mechanic right now, because that's going to take a bit of time. But I will do the wandering monster roll and see, because what we're going to do is we're going to get to the end of this. We are going to do a bit of resting and maybe start searching this room for traps and map it out. So, but in the meantime, is there going to be a wandering monster that pops up and spoils our fun while we map this? So a 1 in 10. No, it's a 10. So there is no wandering monster. Okay, so I have a few things to do. I have to transport this onto another sheet of graph paper. That's an easy job. We have to determine the trap at the start of the next turn, the next episode. Also, we do have quite a reasonable chance of detecting this trap because we will be doing some quite detailed mapping of that chamber. And then we can proceed on with the adventure. We really have not come, I suppose the thing that Thingol and Greenface are thinking is, is there anything in this in this dungeon? We've gone up and down, round about, and whatever. We've had damp breezes, earthy smells, smoky smells, all sorts, all that kind of stuff. It's been very atmospheric, says Thingol, but we haven't really come up with anything yet. Surely by episode 4. We will find something that we can do. Otherwise, I think we're really just going to have to throw some wild cards in. We've had the spear trap, I suppose, and a bit of damage. And Thingol has used up his healing spells, so we are probably going to be in the case where it would be quite nice to maybe get an opportunity to do a bit of proper rest. And maybe he could get some healing back, but it is not necessary at this stage because we are at full strength almost. Okay, right. Hopefully, I'm going to say at the end of all these episodes, hopefully you enjoyed that. There hasn't really been very much happening, but I suppose you get the gist of was going on. We're really just doing a kind of scouting exploration mission just now. I'm sure that we will get into some combat situations soon. And I think, as I've said on many occasions, it's not all about the combat, but it would be nice to have one or two occasionally, especially with these nice high-powered characters, and get to see them in action. I'm sure we will. Okay, well, thank you very much for watching this one, and I hope to see you next time.